AFTERBUZZers, what's up? Bravo fans, what's up? Tonight, we got Below Deck Med, Season 1, Episode 10. Charter from Heaven, Charter from Hell, let's go!
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV! And now, let the buzz begin!
Oh wait, I'm snapping.
What's up? It's another episode. Below Deck Med.
Below Deck Med, love it. Love my Tuesdays. Love my Tuesdays.
Season 1, Episode 10. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you guys.
The Charter from Heaven. The Charter from Hell.
Dun dun dun.
It's just us two tonight. I'm Michael Rippe. You can find me all over social media at Mike Rips, and I'm joined by
Madison Conklin, everyone. You can find me on Twitter at Maddie Says This, on Instagram at Conklin, Conklynn, and Snapchat at Maddie Conklin, all one word.
She got it all out.
I did.
We lost a few of the ladies to maybe July 4th partying. Who knows? They're back soon.
Yes.
For now, it's just Maddie and Mike.
Maddie, the M&M show.
It's the M&M show. So
M-squared.
grab your M&Ms, join us in the live chat,
Yes.
and let's do this.
So what's ironic about the song we used to open was Happy by Pharrell, and the irony in that is that the charter guests from Hell were so dissatisfied with a few of the crew members. But what's also funny is that Danny was sick from the previous charter. That's kind of how the episode starts, and the crew members are ecstatic. Like, they're like, yeah, he's not in the way, he's not talking, he's not annoying me, like I can actually concentrate and hear my own thoughts.
Exactly.
So a little bit of both.
And
a little happiness.
we wanted to make sure to bring some happiness to our after show.
Yes.
So, we'll start from the top of the episode.
And work our way down.
She's good.
I'm such a loser.
No,
Okay.
she's good.
Keep going.
Danny is sick to start the episode again.
Like
continuation.
deathbed, like 103 degrees, which we all know is not healthy.
No.
And like, bless Ben's heart, he's in that nasty, germ-filled room. Daniel's just been like kept away because he can't go up with the charter guests because he's gonna get them sick.
Yep.
But
So-
Ben, yeah.
Captain Mark makes the decision that Danny needs to go to the hospital. They find a boat, comes over, picks him up. While in the meantime, Brian talks to Jen about she being the most expendable.
Which, okay, we get that she hasn't been the happiest person to work with and a deckhand. Like, she's kind of lacked in some areas, but I don't know. The way he said it, his tone, he's like, well, she's the most expendable. So it's like, okay, we get it. Get off your high horse, Brian. Like, we know you're the one in charge of the deckhands. Like, you don't need to be, well, I'm not going to say it, but a butthead.
I guess don't be a butthead, Brian.
Yeah.
So Danny goes to the hospital. We find out he has gastroinflammation. He departs the boat for a little bit.
Jen, well, and then this was another one. Brian said, sent Jen to be Danny's little hospital escort, which was, again, demeaning in so many ways. And it's like,
Yep, we know that.
Brian.
So at the same time, Hannah and Ben are kind of in this weird place now that they're not going to be friends, just work colleagues. It's a little bizarre.
Yeah, there's like just some weird tension, weird vibage coming off the TV screen between them, you know?
Through the entire episode, there really was.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, it's kind of like when Julia had her talk with Bobby, and then Bobby was kind of like standoffish, and then she was upset because he was standoffish because he was making it awkward. Like, just these relationships on the boat are not panning out the way I thought they were going to, you know?
yeah, definitely.
Everyone's breaking apart, and it's making me a little sad.
A bunch of changes between relationships amongst the crew. Let's get into the more of that. We see Tiffany and Ben flirting a little bit.
Which I think I'm really going to like. I hope it happens.
Ben had a funny comment about making Danny curry upon his arrival, saying he had to only have bland food, and I liked how Ben said he was going to make him curry. That was funny.
Yeah.
But let's move forward to where our shredding grannies that we had last week,
Golden Girls.
the Golden Girls, they ask during their dinner service to have Captain Mark join them for dessert.
And they're feeling good. They're a little tipsy. And I don't think any of the crew members were pissed off about it, but they kept commenting how the main charter guest was drunk. And it's like, she's on vacation. Who cares? She's having cocktails at dinner. Like, she went to bed. She didn't cause a ruckus. So that kind of like irked me a little bit that people were.
So Captain Mark joins them. He informs us. We find out that he has been married for 16 years.
Which I love because, again, Captain Mark, I think you're adorable and I love you. And that makes me so happy. He's like, oh, yeah, me and my wife, 16 years. It's like, how the heck do you keep a relationship for 16 years when you're a yacht captain? You know, he's traveling all over the world. Like, obviously, we don't know how much he gets to see her. But yeah, 16 years.
That's a great amount of time. And so, Captain Mark, I just want to say from both of us, congratulations on your 16th wedding anniversary.
Yes, it was probably like a year ago. So they might be hitting 17.
If we can get the live chat up, maybe there'll be some people in the chat room that we could talk to.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no
okay,
one,
there's
so many people waiting to talk to us. And
join the queue.
Nonetheless, Tiffany and Ben are flirting. Danny returns to the boat, and Ben advises Danny upon his return that he should forfeit his tip, and he should do that without any, anything from being told that. So it would make him gain the respect of
the other crew members.
Of the crew member,
because clearly, zero respect for Danny, which I don't blame them.
So if you're watching this at any point, what do you think? Did you think that Danny should forfeit his tip because he didn't work on the crew, that certain charter? What's your feeling? Let us know in the comments when you see this. What's your feeling about that?
Oh, I think it would have been interesting if Ben hadn't prompted Daniel, you know? And I guess, me personally, I would just know, like, I didn't work this charter, so I don't deserve a tip. But like I said, if Ben hadn't prompted Daniel to say, hey, you might want to consider not taking the tip to gain respect of others since you've been sick, if Daniel would have taken the tip, I think he totally would have taken the tip despite him being sick.
Yeah, so
or he just doesn't think things through like that and keep, other people's into consideration.
Danny goes to Captain Mark. He seems sincere when he says that he's going to forfeit his tip. It makes it a lot easier of an issue. We get to the tip, and it's the biggest tip. Yeah. So the Golden Girls left the biggest tip, so that was really sweet of them. They obviously really enjoyed their charter. Yeah. It ended up being $1,800 US for each
That's
member.
Almost 2 months of rent. Makes me sick to my stomach. Like, oh, I need to get on the yacht life.
Depends where you live on how much rent that is. That could be more.
Well, talking about Los Angeles, so. But yes, yeah, and I just loved Ben's face. He was so, like, smug when Danny or Mark, announced that Danny wasn't going to be taking the tip. And, like, Ben's face is just like, oh, I did it. Everyone's going to,
At the same time, Bobby had a great reaction to finding out the amount of money that they were going to get.
Oh, so yeah,
that was cool.
Hella hyped for it.
So, that's our charter from heaven.
Yes.
That leads us to the charter from hell. But before we get there, it was funny to see Ben in the kitchen trying to swat flies with a towel. So I gotta say,
why was that funny?
Someone get Ben an automatic fly zapper.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
He needs one of those.
Right?
He needs
Ben, from now on, when you're on the charter in the kitchen, you gotta have an automatic fly zapper. It would have been so much more fun for you, so much more fun for us.
But
everybody would enjoy it.
Think about it. I mean, he's down in his little kitchen, maybe getting a little stir crazy, and chasing flies around might be an actual, like, little stress reliever. He's whipping the towel, like with the zapper, you're just like.
The zapper he's super fun when you get them. You zap them like. I have one. That's why.
Is this a pastime of yours? Fly
I do
swatting
this regularly. Telling you, the automatic fly zapper.
Why do you have so many flies in your area? Huh? Are you like what's the Charlie Brown character name with the dust cloud around him?
What?
Oh gosh, anybody that knows who I'm talking about from Charlie Brown. It's not. Anyways, okay, so yeah. What were we going to? The charter from hell.
So Hannah and Ben, before we get there though, Hannah and Ben have a discussion with Captain Mark about the kind of how they're going to do menus.
Oh yeah, that was.
So you can see the stubbornness, and there's a little bit of bickering over it. It ends up with Ben saying he'll write out the menus and kind of give in to Hannah's. Like needs.
He was he's like, no, you can write the menus, and Hannah's like, I would prefer you. It's like, Ben, just compromise. Like, why? It's just like he was digging or trying to get a rouse out of Hannah.
Yeah.
Love you, Ben. Love you, Hannah. But it's like, this is your job. You're preparing the food, so you need to present a menu. But he was like, well, Hannah, you're asking for him, so you should write it, And then he had Tiffany writing it.
So at the same time, we have Danny's back. His phone is gone. And then Brian and Bobby, again, fed up with Danny.
Yes.
Brian talks about how he should be ashamed of he says he should be ashamed of himself, the way he's talking about others, which seemed a little weird coming from Brian, considering some of the things that Brian has said.
That's true.
Right?
That is a little, contradictory, hypocritical of Brian to be like, you need to respect people. It's like, okay, Brian, if you were to like take a step back, see how you talk to Jen and Danny, maybe you, and I mean, even Tiffany when he was really drunk that one time, Yeah. But yeah, like just the way Danny, I get it that he was just sick, but he like through the food he was eating, it was just like, we're done here. We're not talking. And it's like, please, girl, bye. Like, you do not need to have an attitude. You did not work for a few days because you were sick. I get that. But like, this is your superior. Unfortunately, you butt heads, but show respect. Shut up. Do your job.
There's Madison.
Slay. Just want to say that.
So
what's your take? You're not like talking at all. Like, come on. We know you got love for Daniel.
I do I think I just got love in general for everyone. Danny, sometimes he goes a little bit out there because he's a little bit sarcastic and witty. He could rein that back, but okay. I think he has, you got to think about the situation with Danny again. He's frustrated in general because he feels like he's been picked on, which I think he has been to a degree. He doesn't have his phone. These guys are playing with their phone in front of him, so from his point of view, he's just like, that doesn't seem fair. He
deserved to have his phone taken away. He disobeyed the rules. He knew it was a no-no. And I just want to, Kathy Stover is on the live chat. Hello, Kathy. Thank you for watching, and everyone that's commenting and everything. But
thank you for watching.
And then Jasmine Gray says she's hot and cold with Danny. I'm more so cold with Danny. Sometimes I can have a little warmth towards him, but pretty cold. Pretty ice queen.
Let's keep it on the right path.
Okay, yeah.
Let's go to the charter from heaven. We transition from the charter from heaven to the charter from hell. Hannah is frustrated from the start in this one, right? I mean, it's clear I don't know, maybe she wasn't feeling so well, but right from the get-go, Hannah was a bit frustrated before really we see the frustrations boil over.
Well, it was like even before the guests got on. It was just from the bios that they gave.
Exactly.
Because Captain Mark was like, these people are going to need a vacation from this vacation. So, of course, her mind starts going like, dear Lord, like we already had, crazy party animals. We just had this awesome group. Now we're going back, So I think she kind of put herself into a bad state of mind
probably
before
brought
she started.
the wrong kind of vibes. You gotta, you want to be positive regardless. And I think you could see during the episode that as she continued to interact, while the guests were being rude and whatnot, she was showing her emotions, which a little bit later she talks about it.
It was all over her face. It was so apparent.
At the same time, Tiffany is stepping up and helping the guests, which was nice to see, and especially the drunk guest girl who was drunk immediately.
And like passes out on the lounge chair and falls off the bar. Her girls pop out and she's just like, I'm so drunk, like blah, has Tiffany help her downstairs, like falls down the stairs. Like, girl, get it together.
So at the same point, we don't know where everyone really is, but there's a little bit of a break, and Danny wants to go take a jet ski to see the caves, and Brian has a fantastic response. Brian says, where do you think you're going? Where do you think you are? Club Med?
Which
is fantastic, by the way.
That was a good one.
That was a good one, Brian.
Way to go, Brian.
They come up with the idea they were going to have a Venetian party for the guests, which was a good idea by Hannah. And
for those, I didn't really know what Venetian party meant, but it's masquerade.
Yeah.
If you didn't know.
And
so there it is.
As it's going on, you start to sense that the guests are being quite rude, quite frustrated,
pompous, and arrogant, and entitled.
Hannah even says that one should have dickhead on his forehead.
Because they were treating them. I mean, the crew members or Tiffany, Julia, and Hannah. They were like, well, this is the worst service we get. So, if we just order a lot now, then we'll have to wait forever to get it. And, it's like they're doing the best they can. You guys are... treat others the way you want to be treated, correct?
Yep. And it was. I thought it was really impressive the way Julia handled it, because Julia,
poor girl,
she was taking it, but really doing a great job of not letting it get to her in front of the guests. Right. And the guests, let's take a time out here. I'm sure the guests may be watching this because they want to see themselves more on TV. But look, if you're going to be on TV, don't act like a complete asshole.
Yeah.
So the guests, whoever you guys are, you guys look like complete jerks. You guys were vulgar. I get it that you're paying, but come on, have a little bit of decency if you're going to be on national TV. Respect yourself. You look ridiculous.
Michael, I've never seen this side of you.
Yeah.
He's a little heated. I love it.
Any of these, I don't like that. It was rude. I mean, just because you pay for something doesn't mean you own them. They're not your like worker animals or all of the charter members, all of the crew have been fantastic throughout the season. Whatever they have amongst themselves is a different story. When they're with the guests, they provide top-notch service, and I think it's important that the guests respect that to a degree. So I really was disappointed with these guests, and if they're watching this because they want to see themselves more, shame on you guys.
Yeah, and it wasn't even the women; it was more so the men.
Yeah,
like
just the comments.
Who said it? Was it Tiffany? She's like, oh, it's like a frat house already, and like, I think it was Jesse. Everyone was the co-primary charter guest. So, but Jesse, he was a.
It's okay to get as drunk. Look, you paid for it. Get as drunk as you want. Party as hard as you want. Fall down, be sloppy, but don't just be rude to people for no reason.
Yeah.
They didn't deserve that, and I was really disappointed with the charter guests, and I understood where Hannah was at, because Hannah later, the guests end up staying longer.
Yeah, they extended their stay by 2 days. And they even tell Captain Mark
that they're not really feeling Hannah, but while Hannah could have handled herself a little bit better in front of them,
just kept it in.
She doesn't deserve to be treated like with vulgar and just like classless remarks over and over.
Well, and the way they were talking to Julia during breakfast, they're like, it took 90 minutes to make waffles. It's like,
and one
you
omelet.
guys passed out for lunch, and some of you guys didn't make it to dinner. So Ben's a little maybe confused as to like what time everyone's gonna roll out of bed because you're so hungover, and then you're just gonna get sloppy drunk again.
Yep.
And the way she was like, oh yeah, and then this, and Ben's making an omelet, and they're like, just one big omelet, and she's like, yeah. So you don't have to eat.
Enough of the chartered guests from hell. From now, let's go to Brian.
Why there's so much to talk about. Okay, Brian, what about him?
Brian and Jen continue to have this type of issues between
this hate relationship.
And Brian tells Jen, your brain needs to be molded, and he's going over the knots again.
The knots, it's like, give it a rest. She knows she needs to work on
They
them.
clearly are not seeing eye to eye at all.
Yeah.
And so that's a little annoying.
Well, and then we also got to see more of Jen,
Yep.
I can't really decide if the way she handled herself in front of Ben with the whole knot situation being like, I'm not doing this right now, if that was good or bad, because she also is, Brian is the top guy for the deckhands, So, I don't know, but I liked that, she was standing up for herself, and she was like, I'm not the best deckhand you've had, and you're not the best boss I've ever had, So she definitely is feisty.
Throwing it right back at him.
Exactly. And I think Brian might kind of be like, whoa, okay, At
the same time, there's an interesting moment in tonight's episode. I think it was probably the most interesting moment is when Jen is complaining to Tiffany inside one of the rooms about
in their room.
Her hatred for Brian. Mm-hmm. Tiffany actually she tells Tiffany that she hates him, and Tiffany responds by saying, I hate him too. Which is something I probably don't feel is accurate at this point, because it seems like Tiffany and Brian, I don't know if they have something going on, but they seem friendly after the shows.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting moment. Tell us what you guys think. Do you think that Brian and Tiffany actually don't like each other? Or do you think Tiffany was just saying that to make Jen feel better?
Yeah, probably, in my opinion, make her feel better.
Just consoling her.
But we haven't seen any more of Tiffany and Brian together since that episode where he was a complete douchebag to her and tried to hook up with her but then insulted her endlessly.
Which is still an ongoing thing. We're not sure how that's going to play out.
I know. But like we were saying, the whole dynamic between the couples that we thought were going to get together are shifting and changing. And I don't want to get into predictions yet because it's a little early. But the whole Tiffany and Ben flirting thing has I'm a piqued interest,
And it's funny, right now, if we're just looking at it through, a microscope and where we are at episode 10, Tiffany has kind of risen to the cream of the crop as far as being just easygoing.
Yeah.
Having a great time.
She can get along with everyone.
Just chill. Everyone else is either having issues with each other, having issues with the guests. Something is going on.
Yeah.
And then Tiffany is just like smooth sailing, girl.
She is. I really.
And she's
I
even
wish we could have her on the show. Dang.
Yeah, Tiffany, come on the show.
Yeah,
Naughty
Tiffany.
Yachty. Let's go.
Naughty Yachty.
But Tiffany, of all the cast members at this point, she's even able to get along with this group. I mean, so
Yeah,
Tiffany
they requested her because she's.
which is impressive when you remember at the start how she was getting a lot of flack from Hannah.
From Hannah, exactly. And
so,
she definitely stepped up her game.
All around,
You know,
yeah.
kind of like Daniel needs to take a note out of Tiffany's book. Tiffany was maybe not overstepping her boundaries, but was like, I need to be up on the deck. I need some vitamin D. I don't want to be in the thing. Hannah's like, well, this is the position you're in, so do the best you can. So she did. It's just like, all right, that is what a hard worker does. That's what a team player does. You do your job and then some, and she's definitely doing that.
So while the charter from hell is about to end, the crew gets some bad news because the charter from hell continues for 2 more nights as they extend. I didn't even know that was a possibility.
I didn't either, and they're like making Captain Mark go like way far out of the way than just to come back. And what are they getting off the boat at like 1 a.m. or something?
Well, it definitely leaves us with some fireworks to still be seen. Speaking of that, let's talk about anything you have to go to unless you want to go right to the predictions.
No, I mean, hold on. Let me look at my notes. If anyone can see, I've got a whole page of notes, so I'm just trying to, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about Ben and Daniel's relationship.
Let's talk about it.
You know, Ben's stepping up. He knows people don't like Daniel. He feels bad for Daniel. And he said, you know, as your friend and protector, and this was regarding the tip, how he should forfeit it, but, you know, as your friend and protector. I thought that was interesting because, I mean, his other two, you know, the other two males, well, even Mark, Captain Mark seems a little annoyed with him. You know, just a little fed up, you know, and
I think also we got to take into account how many days they've been on the boat. So they're probably starting to get that urgency, like
cabin fever.
Yeah, you know how it is with the same people, and they're obviously not all having a blast together. It's just so that energy. I mean, energy is a real thing, and you could tell the energy has turned kind of negative toward.
Well, and we've seen that they haven't been able to like go out and release, I guess, that frustration because it was back to back charters, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I could go for a night out with like them going out for a night in the next episode.
Yep. And so you're right though. Ben has been all season kind of really on Danny's side, or at least giving him advice, which is really nice to see. He's giving constructive criticism and just saying like, hey, rather than doing this, maybe try that. And Daniel listens, and maybe that's what Brian and Bobby need to do. But they're so far done with him. Jasmine Grace, thank you for telling us, commenting. Julia still leading that firefighter on. So
oh yes, and then the weird like love triangle between Julia, Bobby, and Hannah. And remember, did you see when Bobby was like in that little small area of the kitchen and Hannah's coming, and then Julia hugs him.
Yeah, we've kind of been through this. Julia, she while she complains about Bobby, I don't think she even realizes that she's very flirtatious, and she brings it on herself, which is, I think I said in past episodes when we talked about it, she kind of brings it on herself, and then she plays it off like it's all Bobby when it's not.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like maybe she acts like she's innocent in it all, but she's got a little bit to do with it. You know,
it takes two to tango.
Exactly.
And so, Julia is doing the most with the tango.
So, and it looks like from what we see from Coming Attractions that Julia is not going to be so happy next episode.
Yeah, she gets on the phone, but I think it's regarding these charter guests. But
possibly.
It could be something happens, Bobby makes another move or something. But yeah, she's getting ready to leave. And I know we've all, like throughout this entire season, where like somebody's probably going to get kicked off. Whether that be Daniel or Daniel. But maybe Julia leaves because she misses Maddie, her boyfriend, in over in London.
We will find out. Let's get to the predictions, and thank you so much, Michelle, Kathy, Jasmine, everyone in the live chat for joining us.
Thank you.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
All right, so Maddie, normally
I go last because I don't have a prediction, but I am going to predict that Ben and Tiff flirting's gonna increase, maybe on their next night out.
How much are we talking increase?
I'm thinking like a little playful touching, you know, kissing maybe.
Oh,
you know, like
okay.
you know how Tiffany always comes, she's like, oh, hey Ben, how's it going? You know, like maybe like, oh my gosh, have fun. But Hannah is not gonna like it.
The flirting's increasing right now.
Right? Doing the most. No, but I think I want to see Tiffany and Ben hit it off. One of these,
that would be nice.
One of the crew members needs to end up a couple. So that's what I want you guys to do, even though the seasons, you've already taped it, but hopefully somebody ends up together.
And if you think there should be a couple, tell us in the comment section who should couple up. What would be your favorite couple on Below Deck Mediterranean?
Don't say Julia and Bobby, because we know Julia's got a boyfriend.
For me, I would say my prediction is that Danny is going to use his phone next episode, which is going to lead to some type of drama.
Oh, yeah. And I wonder, because Mark was very, Captain Mark was very strict about, you know, Daniel was like, well, can I have my phone at night because I need an alarm clock? To me, instantly, I'm like, you bunk with Bobby, who gets up at the same time as you. Like, you don't need an alarm clock.
This was we didn't mention that, but that was funny because
Mark shut him down so quick, and that's why I think Captain Mark's getting annoyed with Bobby, or not Bobby, sorry, Danny. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Danny. I'm usually riding with Danny. I could see his opinion and understand where he's coming from. The alarm clearly one, like he clearly that was
someone's got a
like
watch.
The dog ate my homework one. He could have come up with something better than that one.
A lot better. And then he's just like, I want to take pictures because if there's no pictures, it didn't happen. And it's like, have people that are taking pictures send them to you.
Yeah.
You were there with them, so it did happen. And then he's like, the whole Instagram thing, he was just whiny, and it's like, here, perfect segue. My phone decided to go for a swim this weekend over the 4th. I don't have a phone, but you don't see me whining about it until right now.
Maddie lost her phone. You can't get in touch with her, guys.
I didn't lose it.
Sorry.
It just plopped, it swam, and I dove in and got it, and there's no saving it.
But we came in happy. We're going to leave happy. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks for tuning
on
in.
Another recap of Below Deck Mediterranean. This was Season 1, Episode 10. Charter from Heaven, Charter from Hell. I am Michael Rippe, and you can catch me all over social media at Mike Rips.
And here I go. You guys, I'm Madison Conklin. You can find me on Twitter at Maddie Says This, Instagram at Conklin, CONKLYNN, and on Snapchat at Maddie Conklin. Thank you, guys.
The girls are back next week. We'll see you then. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.